very well. We will start this day with an opening session, and there I will let Catharina Groop from Åbo Academy welcome us. So I put down my screen and welcome Catharina.
Thank you very much. Let me share a PowerPoint with you, and then we'll go from there. Well, first of all, also on my behalf, a warm welcome to this seminar. It would have been lovely to welcome you in Åbo, but given the many twists and turns in the global situation and of course in the national situation, given COVID and everything, it wasn't possible. We so would have liked to show you Turku, Åbo, but given the circumstances, this is all I can offer you at this moment, a picture of Turku, Åbo. In the lower right-hand corner, you see the cathedral, you see the river Aura, and you see the beautiful Turku skyline and even some green areas. And I very much hope that at some point you get to come to Turku and see this all for yourselves. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here to talk about sustainability. And these are very, very important topics. And I think every forum that addresses these from different angles and among different groups of professionals, everything is valuable, and it contributes to this much greater effort of making the world a better place. So I'm glad that we gathered here today. Unfortunately, as I said, I can't be with you the whole day, only a short while in the morning, but I'm glad to be here for this short session. Let me see if I advance in the presentation. We were hoping to welcome you to Åbo Academy University. I don't know to what extent Åbo Academy is familiar to all of you. We are a Swedish language academic university, a multidisciplinary one, and we see ourselves as a gateway to Finland from the Nordics and vice versa. And I think that's very much in line with the seminar today, which of course goes beyond the Nordics as well. We have campuses in Turku and Vaasa. You see them on the map. The top one is Vaasa in Ostrobothnia, and the lower one is Turku, Åbo, where I'm located and where I work and live, and also Ann-Katrin Henriksson, who has been a key person in the arrangements today. We have about 5,500 students, 1,100 employees, and 4 faculties. You see them listed here. And I understand that this presentation is going to be shared with you, so you can have a look at the details. And of course, like any other university, a number of other entities and centers. And one of these is the Center for Lifelong Learning, where I work and where Ann-Katrin Henriksson and also Anina, who introduced herself, work. The Center for Lifelong Learning, my intention isn't to make this a sort of promotion presentation, but as a sort of bridge to the topic of sustainability. We are a standalone unit within the university, and we have campuses in Åbo and Vaasa, just like our mother university. And you see the campuses here on the left-hand side. Had you come to Turku, you would have been welcomed in the top one, which is the Arken part of the Turku campus. The middle one is from Vaasa, where the campus these days is located in an old mill. It's a quite exciting environment just by the sea. And the lower one is Novia University of Applied Sciences and their campus in Vaasa. Because the exciting thing I think about the Center for Lifelong Learning is that we are a diverse family. We consist both of Åbo Academy University and Novia University of Applied Sciences. And to round this up, we're a major actor in Finnish university-based continued education. And in practice, what do we do? Well, we stand on many legs and go in many directions. We provide academic courses for Åbo Academy regular students, but bachelor students, master students, for instance, through our language center, but also through our open university, which mainly, of course, caters for adult students from the outside, but also provides courses for regular students. We provide continuous learning through different kinds of courses and packages for professionals, for instance, teachers, healthcare workers, and you name it, actually, across sectors and levels of Finnish society. And we take part in development projects focused on lifelong learning in a variety of themes, looking at and focusing on many different target groups, and funded by many different funding agents. So we have many different focus areas. And now coming onto the topic of sustainability and how the Center for Lifelong Learning links to sustainable development. In 2020, we adopted a new policy document where sustainable development was sort of made into one of the key areas of work for the center. And it was made into both a midterm goal, but also an essential part of the long-term goal of the center. As you can see here, one of our midterm goals is to increase awareness of sustainable development and to promote sustainable development through the work that we do. And this, of course, this is very ambitious, and it was, we had, of course, worked in sustainable development for a long time, but really putting sustainable development at the core of what we do was a different angle to things, and a considerable upscale of our work in this area. And along the way, we realized that even if we had considerable competencies in-house already, that we needed to develop competencies for sustainable development to actually be able to rise to the challenge of raising the awareness of others and promoting sustainable development in different areas of our work. And as a result of this, we started it was an exercise of mapping, first of all, our own competencies. Staff members were asked to evaluate their own competencies in sustainable development. And this already, as you can imagine, it wasn't an easy exercise, because it meant that we had to engage in very, very interesting discussions about what sustainability actually is. What is a competency in sustainability? How should it be evaluated? What is a deep knowledge in something as opposed to perhaps a more basic one? So actually getting into this mapping exercise meant that we engaged in very important sort of fundamental discussions about sustainability and competencies. But in the end, we had a pragmatic approach. We decided to focus on the SDGs because we felt that was manageable. And it was ended up being sort of a self-evaluation where every staff member used a 3-degree scale. And for instance, on SDG 1, on poverty, you would grade yourself, or rather your competencies related to that SDG then on a 3-degree scale. At the same time, staff members were also asked to whether they were willing to engage in peer learning and engage in the planning and conducting of learning cafes for fellow staff members. And once all of this information was compiled and analyzed, teams of 3 to 7 persons were formed around clusters of SDGs. I think in the very beginning we were planning on separate learning cafes for every SDG, but we realized along the way that that would be very cumbersome. So in the end, we just clustered SDGs. And these groups, they were asked to conduct learning cafes of 90 minutes for fellow colleagues. They were expected to focus on the Finnish context because we felt that was where our main work was. And they were also asked, we were asked, because I was also part of some of the groups, to have a participatory approach. And that is to make sure that half of the cafe was about discussions and dialogue and actually exchanging experiences and views. So this was how we advanced. The end of the Learning Cafe series will be in March 22. And at the end of this exercise, we will evaluate how it all worked out. What have the experiences been? What has been learned or not learned? But already now you can see, just from talking to fellow colleagues in different circumstances, that there is greater awareness. There is also greater curiosity with regard to sustainability and engagement in sustainability work. And overall, in a more sort of general meaning, a sense of embarking on a joint path, a new exciting path, and increased meaningfulness, because colleagues feel that they contribute to something that is related to the greater good. And then after this whole series, we're going to continue this exercise, because this, of course, is just the start. We need to sit down again collectively and with a participatory approach to define our own sustainability path, to make sure that everything we do has sustainability mainstreamed into it. Not perhaps, I mean, there's some courses or projects may only have small parts of sustainability in them, whereas others may have a more sort of integrated approach or focus entirely on sustainability. We focus very much on results and long-term impact, not just what is here and now, but sort of looking onward. And we work very closely with our mother university, Åbo Academy University, to make sure that also regular university courses, research, campus solutions have taken sustainability into account, and that it's present. And we can see that, you know, with the curiosity that has been awoken, there will be continuous learning among staff on this front, because everyone, or at least many staff members, they want to deepen their competencies and know more. This is my last slide. As I said before, many very fundamental questions have been parts of our path this far, and will continue to be so, of course. The question of what sustainability actually is, how should it be taught or mainstreamed? What should be taught or mainstreamed? How can learning best be achieved? How can different parties be engaged, and how do you wake curiosity and willingness to engage in such a process? And also the whole issue of whether sustainable development is an ideological question that should be present in the academic setting. That is also a question that has been asked. But I think above all, a sense of urgency, that despite these different and sometimes difficult questions, we need to find a path forward, and we need to advance, because there's a need to act now, and we need to be parts of this bigger journey. And I understand that these are questions that you also will be engaging in discussions around, during this day, and that's something that I'm very pleased to hear about, because they need to be opened up. So with this, I would like to thank you very much for giving me the floor this morning, and wish you very rewarding discussions and a fruitful day in every sense. And I hope that this contributes to your own path and your organization's path forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Catharina. It was very interesting to listen to you, and I think we hope that we can do quite the same in this project, to have learning cafes, because this learning and teaching event is a sort of cafe when we try to explore and big greater awareness about the subject together. So I'd like to hear more about your evaluation in the spring, and I also hope that we might come to Åbo sometimes, not in the project, perhaps in our lives. So it looks very beautiful, and I'm very excited to learn more about your work. Thanks, and is there any questions quickly to Catharina before she leaves us?
My email address is also at the end of the presentation. So once you have digested things a little bit and perhaps listened in, well, after the discussions today, if there's anything that you want to ask, feel free to contact me. And also Ann-Katrin Henriksson, of course, is very, very knowledgeable in these issues. So anytime, please contact us if there's anything.
Yeah, many thanks to you. Bye.